So, in your guys' experiences so far, between parenting, working, businesses, volunteering, I don't even, basically everything, what would you say are the best financial lessons that you have learned so far from your experiences?
Oh, financial lessons. Probably everything I'm teaching my kids right now. Like, like when I was growing up, there wasn't like credit card debt. Like no one told me like, oh, watch out, like watch out for credit card debt and all this stuff. And so just being smart about your money, just having saving money. Like I've always like, oh, I'm never good with numbers, and I'm an artist. I'm not a numbers person, but you kind of gotta like tell yourself a different story.
Yeah, and it's always going to be a learning curve, especially with the business part of it. We're still learning, and I mean, there's all kinds of information out there, but yeah, I've learned that. Yeah, there's so many. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I do believe in you need to spend money to make money, but you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket.
Break the bank.
Break the bank. Yeah. There are smart ways to do it. It's not work harder. It's work smarter.
Just work
kind of
smarter.
thing.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes do both, but definitely
Yeah,
try to be smarter about it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Try. Yeah. You can try.
And outsource. Like that's our thing is like we want to outsource someone to help us with that because when you first go into it, because we're just brand spanking new and going into this, and we're like, okay, we need someone to kind of guide us, and
we're wearing all the hats right now, but
Right.
eventually, once we get a system in place to kind of outsource some of that,
Yeah.
our weaknesses,
Yep. Well, it makes sense. I mean, you always, or I hear all the time, focus on what you're good at and hire the rest.
Exactly.
Once you can,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
So,
right.
because when you first start, you can't really
Right, you're
don't wanna
just
throw all the money
Right.
at everything else. So, based off of what you have learned, if there was like one piece of advice that you could give to whether someone's starting a business or starting a family or just kind of entering their financial life, or maybe even your, in your general situations, but if there was one piece of financial advice that you would give, what would it be?
oh gosh, like financial advice.
Yep, just not necessarily like
okay.
you get into the X's and O's of like the stock market,
Yeah.
but just from your experiences of what
Yeah.
you've learned. If you were going to give advice to someone, what would it be? Just one thing to keep in mind.
Yeah. Well, for me, I worked in corporate, a 9-to-5 job for 10 years, and I was in my comfort zone way too long. So, like, my advice is you need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to grow. You need to learn. Always be curious. I think in the last 5 years, I've grown more than I have in the last 10 to 15 years. So yeah, it's always be curious, and just as scary as it is, you need to step out of your comfort zone and just go for it.
Cool. How about you?
Like she said, and then also too, I mean, if you like what you're doing, fine, but if there's a seed that's planted in you, don't lose sight of that seed. I mean, maybe it's not your season, maybe it's not, but I'm always a believer in the time is now. I mean, there's no time the time is now. So, for me, the seed was planted, and, you just can't, if you can't let go of that thing that's in the back of your head, just keep working on it. Move that needle just a little bit forward. You don't have to make this huge stride. Just keep moving the needle a little bit at a time, and you'll make big impact. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice in both cases. Just to kind of brief recap, correct me if I'm wrong, but one, make yourself uncomfortable, right? You can't just stay in your lane forever.
Right.
But two, with that, you don't have to be so uncomfortable and expect perfection tomorrow.
Right.
If you just get a little bit better every day, you're going to get closer to reaching the goal.
Exactly.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
That's what I heard. So
Yes.
hopefully that's what you said to a point.